the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament. I rise in this August House to lend my support to the motion by the Honorable Prime Minister to show appreciation to His Excellency, the President, for his address in the opening of the 2025 parliamentary year on Monday, 24th February 2025. It was a proud moment for me and the people of the Conrobe to witness our paramount chief excel to this most prestigious hierarchy in government or national leadership of our beloved country. Mr. Speaker, sir, first and foremost, I'd like to applaud His Excellency for his strong leadership and foresight to ensure that there is political stability when he assumed duties in this prestigious office last year, despite the cynical criticisms and skeptical perceptions by certain factions of our society at large. His Excellency remained focused on his vision for our nation, that we must progress. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency, a paramount chief of Fiji, is full of love and compassion for all Fijians, irrespective of race or gender. This was showcased when the Fiji First Party was disbanded, and as a paramount chief, he kept them all in Parliament. He clearly portrayed his position as a true leader not only for the Vanua, but of our country. The establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is a testament to His Excellency's commitment to embedding important values within the government machinery that will encourage forgiveness, unity, and advancement. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency's words serve as both a reminder and a call to action, urging us to embrace progress, unity, and service to the people of Fiji. As leaders, we have been entrusted with the sacred duty of shaping policies and implementing programs that will uplift our citizens, strengthen our communities, and build a prosperous nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency's message reminds us about the importance of working together to ensure that no Fijian is left behind in our pursuit of economic growth and sustainable development. It is a vision that aligns with the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and the System Management mandate to drive inclusive and rural maritime development, strengthen disaster resilience, enhance the well-being of our communities across our remote rural and maritime islands. We must continue to embody the principles of integrity, accountability, and servant leadership, putting the interest of the people above all else. The diversification of our economy. Mr. Speaker, sir, I strongly support the focus on diversification for broad-based economy. This obviously requires enhancing investment in agriculture, tourism, and digital transformation. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we all know that agriculture is one of the key economic sectors for the rural-based economies across the country, the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and the System Management Self-Help Program and the Rural and Outer Island Development Program, the ROI, are intended to complement various initiatives implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Waterways to support the rural-based farmers. Under the Ministry's ROI program, there is support towards digital transformation through assistance for ease of access to reliable communication services. For this financial year, we have assisted the Vanua of Nambukelebu Namosi in the installation of Starlink equipment using funds available from the ROI program. There is the intention to support other rural remote areas so that they are able to access the internet and thereby the outer world through this mode of communication. We believe that this will provide platforms for them to also market themselves, even through both formal and social media. Mr. Speaker, sir, I totally concur with the plan to review the 6 agricultural-based public enterprises, namely the Agricultural Marketing Authority, Food Processors Fiji Limited, Fiji Rice Limited, Fiji Coconut Millers, Fiji Meat Industry Board, and the Angara Pastoral Company. These state-owned enterprises were set up over a number of decades ago when there were limited players in the industries in which they operate. The commercial world has advanced immensely, and yet these corporate bodies are still lagging behind in many ways. Apart from availability of modern equipment and technology, consistency of quality supply of commodities to the factories and processing facilities, and competitiveness of markets obviously impacts on profitability. I appreciate the intention to review policies and laws to improve the performance of public enterprises. Mr. Speaker, sir, I welcome the stance to prioritize strengthening of tourism policies and infrastructure and modernization of the civil aviation laws. Equally important is having infrastructure and facilities that are safe for our people and our visitors. On sustainable fisheries, Mr. Speaker, sir, the government's commitment to sustainable fisheries, forestry, and environmental conservation is vital for the resilience of our rural and maritime communities, where these resources are integral to livelihoods. I commend the initiatives outlined in the National Fisheries Policy, Aquaculture Development Plan, and Aquaculture Act, which will strengthen resources sustainability while ensuring economic opportunities for our people. Our rural and maritime communities must be at the forefront of these efforts, with targeted support to enhance sustainable livelihoods, protect biodiversity, and build resilience against climate change. The restoration of mangrove ecosystems and the expansion of protected reserves will not only safeguard our environment but also strengthen natural disaster mitigation efforts, which are crucial for vulnerable coastal communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am really appreciative of the commitment to revitalize the shipbuilding sector and the consideration to establish a new shipbuilding facility in Fiji. We all know that travel between our main islands and the maritime communities remain to be a challenge. Apart from the need to have good infrastructure in those small islands, access to safe, affordable, and regular shipping services is a necessity for our Fijians that live in these islands. Furthermore, they also require good quality boats to assist them in their fishing for their daily living of commercial ventures. Our ministry has a budget allocation of $300,000 for the Seafaring Entrepreneur Assistance Program for this current financial year, for which 24 individuals and the communities are being assisted. Mr. Speaker, sir, the promotion of value addition in resource-based sectors and encouraging participation of resource owners will greatly impact the growth of our rural and maritime community. These are initiatives that will obviously create employment and wealth for our rural citizens. I cannot emphasize more on the need for the relevant agencies to work together to ensure that the right governance mechanisms are also in place and resource owners are also provided the necessary capacity building programs that will help in the sustainability of existing newly established business ventures. The introduction of access to funding bill for micro, small, and medium enterprise is acknowledged, and I believe it will help boost operation for eligible resource owners, commercial ventures. Strengthening of traditional knowledge. Mr. Speaker, sir, I strongly support the government's commitment to safeguarding customs and traditions while strengthening social framework to empower our people. The recognition and protection of traditional knowledge and cultural expression through the proposed legislation will ensure that indigenous practice, wisdom, and resources are preserved for future generations, while also creating economic opportunities for Tauke communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, in our rural and maritime areas where traditional knowledge is deeply rooted in their daily life, it is vital that these reforms align with development initiatives that enhance resilience and sustainability. The review of the Rotuma and the Banaban laws is a step forward, inclusive governance, ensuring that all communities benefit from equitable development. Our National Blue Town Framework, Mr. Speaker, sir, the implementation of the National Blue Town Framework and the new Town Development Program is a crucial step forward towards the promotion of sustainable and inclusive development in our rural and maritime areas. The Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Management welcomes these initiatives as they will provide essential infrastructure, improve connectivity, enhance service delivery in key locations such as Nambowalu, Kiasi, and other planned township developments. We remain committed to supporting these developments through coordinated planning and ensuring that the disaster risk reduction and climate resilience are integrated into all these new town projects. In terms of housing and sugar, Mr. Speaker, sir, the government's commitment to addressing the housing needs of our people, particularly those in informal settlements, is a significant step towards ensuring security and dignity for all Fijians. I recognize the importance of extending these efforts to our rural and maritime communities, where access to affordable and resilient housing remains a challenge. Our ministry will continue to work closely with relevant stakeholders to integrate climate-resilient housing solutions, ensure that vulnerable communities, including persons living with disabilities, have access to safe and sustainable housing options. Mr. Speaker, sir, I note that our ministry is working with the Ministry of Housing to address issues in informal settlements through the establishment of a task force that is chaired by the Ministry of Housing, and the Secretariat is the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development. Mr. Speaker, sir, in our rural and maritime areas, the sugar industry remains a critical economic driver, supporting livelihoods and strengthening our agricultural sector. The record high cane payment and the targeted support program introduced by the Ministry of Sugar reflects the coalition government's commitment to revitalizing this sector. Strengthening infrastructure such as farm access roads, providing subsidies, and investing in farm mechanization will enable rural farmers to boost productivity and maximize returns, ensuring that agriculture remains a viable and a rewarding industry. Mr. Speaker, sir, beyond sugar, the non-sugar agriculture sector plays a fundamental role in our rural economy, providing food security and employment opportunities for thousands of Fijians. Our ministry fully supports government's initiatives to enhance large-scale production technologies and agro-processing, which will not only increase value addition, but also open new markets for our farmers. By improving farm-to-market access, we can empower rural communities to contribute meaningfully to the national economy while ensuring long-term sustainability in food production. In terms of women participation, Mr. Speaker, I fully support the government's commitment to increasing the participation of women as directors of boards of public enterprises. In the rural and maritime sector, we have seen firsthand the invaluable contributions of women in driving community resilience, economic development, and social cohesion. Ensuring their representation at decision-making levels is not just a matter of fairness, it is a strategic imperative that will strengthen governance, promote inclusivity, and bring diverse perspectives to our national development agenda. Mr. Speaker, I welcome the government's commitment to reshaping the public service landscape to be more efficient, people-centered, and responsive to the needs of all Fijians. As for rural and maritime communities, an effective public service means timely and coordinated responses to their needs, whether it is disaster preparedness, infrastructure development, or access to essential government services. The Ministry's role in administering ancillary services at the divisional and district levels ensure that the rural citizens are not left behind in national development efforts. By streamlining processes and enhancing accountability, we will improve service delivery and ensure that rural and maritime Fijians receive the support they need to progress successfully. Mr. Speaker, as we embark on this parliamentary session, I urge members of this August House to remain committed to constructive dialogue, responsive governance, and bold transformative action. Let us honor the trust placed in us by the people by bringing forth policies that promote inclusivity, sustainability, and nationality. We remain resolute in our quest that will with collective effort, we can turn challenge into opportunities and create a future where every Fijian thrives and prospers. Just before I take my seat, Mr. Speaker, just reflecting on one of the issues that His Excellency the President raised during his speech, that we must be cautious and ensure that information shared on social media is accurate and reflects the reality and is intended for the common good rather than creating further division amongst our community. Yet this piece of advice, Mr. Speaker, fell on deaf ears. Just a moment later, His Excellency the President was publicly ridiculed on social media. And I agree with my Minister, Honorable Ditoka's sentiments when he delivered his address on Monday. And he was disappointed, as well as me and other members who were sitting on this side of the House, with some members of Parliament who continue to use social media to gain political mileage rather than promoting national unity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.